So now, the fascinating, fun part is seeing sort of what peace gives first in how the world is. We're at totally fake it to make it mode, and more and more like really phony stuff keeps coming up, like the Zoom call. Oh, Amazon, here we go, the Amazon Parkway is doing that thing. There goes one of those things, one of those steel deals they put in. Oh, that's cool. Yeah, they're doing their thing. So, whew, I'm in my dad outfit. Got some 6-pocket shorts and a snazzy polo. Looking snazzy with my coffee. Trying to give the old charming smile to the milfies. Anyway, all right. So, no, enjoying life, even though I don't make much money. That's the thing. I've really got this. There's been some things that the young people have been teaching me slowly. That I'm like, yeah, you don't make much money, but very few people ever have to come looking for you for anything. They don't ask you for shit. You don't really have that many problems. Like you meet people all the time, and they're tied up. They got all kinds of places they got to be all the time. And I got to talk to people all the time. And it's like I just do what I want. It's just that it's very low, very inexpensive. I just do whatever I want, but it has to be very inexpensive. That's my t-shirt right there. That's the merch. Oh, and so here's more of so they got this, they had drained the water, pumped it out, and have slowly been now making it a natural slope, so that I guess they're going to put more river stone in and stuff like that, and then eventually the plant life will grow in among the stone, and and we'll have a real riverbed. It'll be a real creek again. So it'll be kind of cool to see. Yeah, the Amazon Creek. Yeah. So adorable. You see young skater, kind of guy and girl. You're pretty sure boyfriend, girlfriend, they both skate. That's awesome. It's like the best time of life. It's like nothing's better than that. Anyway, well, there will be stuff that's pretty awesome, but I mean, you guys know what I mean. There's somebody, you remember riding bikes with her, or you were on the bike, she was on the skateboard, you were on the skateboard, she was on the bike, something like that. You never forget that girl. She's always that age, too, in your memory, too. You were to see her, you'd be like, what the fuck, who are you? You'd be like, I'm blah, 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 don't you remember riding bicycles with me? I'd be like, oh. No, I'm sorry, ladies, not really. It would be very wonderful. It would be like no time has passed at all. Don't worry. Anyway, so I had stumbled on something that was talking about the present rates at which what states are not just, because he was getting into, at all times, most states will have fewer people dying than being born. So if it stays even, then you are losing people. But once you're losing people, you're losing people. You're hemorrhaging humans. And more and more, there's these various kind of uniquely interesting things going on of how really the democratic enclaves are hemorrhaging citizens. And that there's no way around this, no matter what kind of hashtag campaign people want to put on, no matter what kind of, we were all on the Zoom call and we're really well. I love how these were a bunch of people who are obviously relatively wealthy, and the amount that they raised, it was like, okay, you were hearing the Trump's numbers, aren't you? Like, you're hearing these money bombs going on. You can hear them. Trump's money bombs are so humongous. that you hear something in the distance, you're like, what the fuck was that? And he goes, I think some people just donated to Trump, and I heard it from all the way over here. I mean, this number that they gave was like laughable practically for who they were, who these people were. And I'm like, holy shit, that's... And then I'm sitting there like, damn, you guys believe your own press. Like, to the point that they say things that's like, do you know what we did? Oh my God, oh, fellow white people. I love it so fellow Caucasians. That's what it is. No longer, it's not fellow white people anymore. I want to put it out there to the MAGA people, and especially to the Gulag gang. The word is fellow Caucasians. That's the new term. And it hit me because that's actually an antiquated understanding of where European people came from. It doesn't, I don't think, if I remember correctly, that really is a good way of applying that. Yeah, it doesn't make sense. It's like referring to the Chinese as Mongoloid, you know. It's like, you know, the albinoids from Albania, you know. But anyway, is that so? It was the fellow Caucasian Zoom call, and then this idea of we have to step up because we have to help, as if you're helping children, as if we have to help this childish race of backward people. I and my fellow Caucasians on Zoom, let's stand together, help these fucking losers. I mean, we could just look. I mean, God damn it! What are you talking about? The ladies, the VP, supposedly totally legit. Like, why are you that worried? Like, this idea that there's some... That coming out of the sea foam is Ilsa, Ice Queen of the Fourth Reich. And she is leading the women toward a campaign of sexual purity and race hate. Because that's what... Those make sense. Because that's super normal, and right, no, because you guys are weird, and that's weird, and it's like, yeah, that's what we're doing, and you would know because you read so many of our blogs, right? Oh, no, you don't. Oh, you know because you watch our channels. Oh, you don't. Okay. You know how the right lives because you have lots of friends who are... No. Okay. So where are you getting informed from, And that's... More and more, there's that kind of thing. This just gets funnier and funnier. Like, to somebody who's actually bright, and because you're bright, you're MAGA... you get, like, no, this idea that there's something wrong with entertaining national interests openly. It's like, grow up. Take the sandals off and grow up. Everybody else is doing that, and we are just playing these games like we aren't. That's the worst part of it all, and that's why so many people get so upset at the hypocrisy, really, of foreign policy of Democrats and progressives. Like, one of the best ironies of all, Syria. The progressives in Syria. So now you've got this issue of, has anybody heard this story that Hezbollah is rocketing energy installations like oil extraction or natural gas extraction in the Mediterranean? And it would be like, well, but what? Where'd those come from? From our war in Syria. Israel was handed a bunch of new territory in the Mediterranean. So they started drilling. And I bet almost no progressive anywhere No liberal anywhere, you've never heard this before. I'm betting most of you have not heard that if you're a liberal who is tuning into this. Like, nobody's getting, isn't it a little strange that out of nowhere, I made sure to grab a gram, there is now Israeli gold. They are selling fine gold on the market. You could buy it by gram. The Holy Land Mint. Now there might be other, but I mean, but this was, I've been watching this for a decade. It suddenly appeared on AppMex. I made sure to grab one of the grams they had out when the price was pretty good. And mostly just for kind of, for curiosity's sake, just this odd mint that had popped up kind of out of nowhere. Almost as if there was suddenly an effort to extract minerals and resources that had been invested in, I don't know, say, as a part of the efforts that were supposed to be helping fight, what's it called? What do they call them now? The jihadis. What was the bunch in Syria? What was their ISIS? That was it. Their Islamic State. That's what that's what they were calling them. That one. bunch of drugged up Muslim jihadist mercenaries that actually were like drugged up. Like there were documentaries done by totally like Newsweek or something, where it was a man who had been tortured by the ISIS forces or by one of the anti-government armies or something like that. He was looking for the torturers and the killers of his family because he wanted to get revenge. And so they were asking, like, so would they just give these people all these drugs, and then torture them? And he goes, no, because then there's no point in torturing people because they're drugged up. No, the torturers would get drugged up. And so this is why people said ISIS isn't Islamic, because it was so clear in so many photos and when they were yelling crazy shit that they were guys that were just high on drugs. To people who knew what they were looking at, they knew what they were seeing. So, yeah. When you have to describe a scene of dystopia, there's almost no businesses open. Most of the places are boarded up that are along the major thoroughfares of business. A lot of houses are vacant, or or they're renting, or they're trying to sell them. You don't see people. You don't see much foot traffic at night. Trying to go to restaurants, trying to go to normal functions in a highly in an area that's urban. There's lots of crime. You always have to watch out for people. Random people. And to a great extent, not just random, but truly like a dice roll on like a Cyberpunk table. Cyberpunk 2020 encounter table. Like, this person is from, and Azerbaijan, and they are armed with a pipe, and they have, and they are saying something to you that you don't understand. It sounds like cigarette. What do you do? There's the dice. Make an awareness roll, and so the fact that now, like, that there's these places that when you describe them, are you describing Sarajevo, in like circa 1996? Are you describing Aleppo? Are you describing Detroit? Are you describing Chicago? Like, where are you describing? Because now what it is that there's these places that, because they're hemorrhaging people, you really are going to have a hard time. Already Chicago, if I remember correctly, it is definitely voicing concern or real problems with the idea that they'll be able to pay city pensions. I'm pretty sure it was Chicago that I saw that story. But this is the big one. That's it. And then the next one is municipal bonds. And one of the key things is like what's happened obviously is that a lot of these cities are getting kind of a reprieve in some way. That, that there's somebody out there who's saying, no, don't worry. This person will be able to pay for their bonds. They'll be able to pay their debts, or this city. And there's only so much longer that can last. That's very likely that a lot of these democratic cities are going to go under right after the election or shortly into early next year. That's my call. That all of these bankers and financiers, that they're trying to keep things good until at least the third quarter, fourth quarter, and it's not going to work. There's nobody going back to the offices, and they're constantly losing humans. And you can't lose humans and still pay on your debts and pay the tax revenues, all that stuff. So these cities are going to have to have a miracle. I mean, I don't understand what they could do at this stage. I like, and the thing is, it's that kind of thing of that it's truly bittersweet, because there's a part of it that it's like, well, you kind of got yourself into this situation by voting for it, but then there's also this thing of, like, when you look at photos of amazing constructions from, like, say, the earliest late 1800s, early 1900s, like amazing Art Deco things or Art Nouveau stuff that, you're like, wow, why don't we do stuff like that anymore? And it's like, it's a lost art. There's just not, it's not going to happen again until there's an entirely different spirit to the different public spirit. And also, Marxists never make beautiful shit. And we're learning that one like in spades. and so, now, the video game industry, this is amazing how they are, that like this will have to be studied as an aspect of history. And the beautiful part is the right's already done its work. And then there's that, okay, so, oh, you right wingers, you're so weird. And so, yeah, but you see, you guys have the team that your team members that you esteem so much hurt women. Like, they are the people who hurt women. The male feminists are notorious for being in some way untoward toward women. You, for some reason, coddle black criminal males who are extremely likely to hurt women. And then you have this fetish for men in dresses, and men in dresses are notoriously violent toward women. I just love how feminism has worked out for liberal women. And so then the beauty of it is this. There's all these states that slowly the Republicans, they will dominate because people will leave. The liberals will leave. They'll be like, it's so uncool there. You can't, like, just smoke pot any place you want to. Like, and then the police, they'll, like, arrest you for things. And it's, like, dumb. And, and so they'll move out to some place that's super blue. And they're like, I could do things and it's not illegal. Yeah, or whatever. I don't, but, or even if it's just that they're like, oh, it's, conservatives are a little corny. They want a little adventure. They want a little fun. They want to go to the big city. They want to live there for a while, and it's like kind of a blue enclave, something like that, and you see, that was a party. See, that was the fun part. Get off me. That was the fun part. That was a party. That was like back in the day when things were still fun. You go to certain cities And the fun was in those cities. People try to make it every single fucking college town. Then it became, no, see, college, party, sluts, everyone should be a slut. everybody should like fuck sluts, and so the what's going to end up happening is there is this idea of the not a civil war but a national divorce. That's not abnormal. Like, that's the thing that's kind of throwing me off now about even when Tim Pool talks about it, and I know he has plenty of reasons why he's saying what he's saying. The thing is, though, I'm like, no, Americans have done this before, where there's a phase that there's fundamentally and it usually Democratic Party has a tendency about every 40 to 50 years to have this, all of you are going to do it our way, no matter what their stance is on whatever. A bunch of men in masks are going to show up and fuck you up if you don't like it. It's just now they don't wear white, they wear black. And so, because it's an authoritarian party, fundamentally. And that's why it operates the way it does, and you can't get people elected who you want. The party, it's about the party. It's not about the voters. and the voters are starting to have to deal with that emotional feeling of being attached to it, going, wait, we don't want I want a different person. Nope. Fuck you. You're gonna march, Democrat. You're in an army now. And the right's having fun. We're laughing. We're laughing at you. We are laughing at you. That's a key. We're laughing with each other, and we're laughing at you about this, because it's just really weird to see like the raver army or something, coming down on Sunday, which that probably doesn't mean a lot. Spun out. There we go. There's a term. Spun out. But there's no breakfast places for you to eat at. There's no. There's no breakfast places for you to eat at. So you're just spun, and your streets are filled with people from all over the world, like Figueroa Avenue, whores all over the place, drug addicts, people that you're watching them die on drugs, like in front of you. Like every day, they die a little more, and then they kind of come back a little, recover a minute, then they take more drugs and they die a little more, and that's, you're choosing that. You're choosing your city to be that way. You're choosing your county to be that way. You're making sure that when kids grow up, that is the environment that they were raised in, and there's no way around that. At some point, the responsibility is going to fall on you, kind of like Lot. The right wing is being Lot. We are not turning back and seeing what the hell is happening. We're walking and just going. And that's what you're now seeing people do. To the point that U-Haul is having trouble keeping trucks in their fleets, on the West Coast. It's that bad. I mean, when you have fleet vehicles, that they're having logistical problems with fleet vehicles for years, that tells you a lot about not the company. The company's not going down. They're actually adding fleet vehicles because you see them. And so that's how many people are moving. And there's no way back from that. Yeah, I mean, like what it took for the .com thing to pump up California the way it did, that took years. It took years and really an infrastructure that went back to the development of the atomic bomb. No, none of that would have even happened without them trying to create the atomic bomb. They needed all that computational power and all those experts, all in an area that was relatively sparsely populated at the time. It wasn't Wasn't a very heavily populated state at that stage. Just kind of a nice rural state that you could have a project like that, and because there was lots of real estate open. Without knowing that context, it's kind of hard to understand California and how it developed. But it's so I don't know. It's how the quickness with which this has happened. That's one of the things that is worrying. In a way that, I mean, like, if you watch economic numbers and things like that, this is really like, wow, can you believe, this many companies have moved? Can you believe that the entire stretch from Van Ness all the way to the Embarcadero has, almost, no greater than 20 businesses open, and, it's like, which then you're talking about like 10, 12 blocks of the middle, the market street, where all the addresses in San Francisco are based off of. So it's just now this thing of like, you've actually totally killed the goose that lays the golden egg. And for a lot of these people, the weirdest part about it is the quintupling down on it. Where, oh, well, no, we're not just not going to change. No, fuck that. Do you know the momentum for our views? do you understand that a bunch of people got on a Zoom call and all agreed with one another? Hey, we're wealthy. Let's support Kamala Harris. Yeah, the whole world needs to get behind this. Who the fuck are we? Who the fuck are we? Yeah, get behind this shit. And I like it. I like how I just like how daft it is. How daft and boomer it is. It's wonderfully boomer. It's like one of those moves that you're like, wow, Democrats, that was almost as boomer as Kamala's dancing. Peace.